All right, it's 6 o'clock. I'm not your usual chair, so sorry in advance for whatever's about to happen to all of us, but it should be fine. We'll start by calling the meeting to order at 6 o'clock, and please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Carrie, can you call the roll for us?
Van Birch.
Present.
Nicole Holt.
Present.
Neil Klein.
Here.
Tony Perry.
Here.
Mark Snyder.
Thanks.
And Brad Scott and Charlie.
All right, but we've got a quorum,
Yep.
so we're good to go. All right, we'll look for a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Thank you, Nicole. We have a second?
Second.
Thanks, Tony. All those in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Dunzo. All right, approval of the consent agenda. Pretty typical stuff. Is there anything anybody wants to pull off that? If not, we'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Thanks, Van. A second?
A second.
Thanks, Nicole. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that is done. Public input and ideas. We've got a limit of 5 minutes per speaker. If anyone would like to come up and address the board, you're more than welcome. Please just say your name and your address for us, and I'll be running a timer as well.
Hey guys, good evening. Pete,
Hello.
Mitch at the
Hi.
Mill. We just kind of want to address a small issue with the water main. I know you guys are kind of already talking about it, and I'm sure that you've already come to at least a little bit of an idea what you're going to do. But with that 1 to 2 lane closure for 1 to 2 weeks would be a huge disruption in our business, along with the other small business owners. I went ahead and kind of like got some signatures, and most of them thought that was a great idea. If we could try to find a way to get a 24-hour, just 1 day closure, that would just be a huge for us. We just kind of wanted to stress our importance of that. You have any other questions though?
Oh, I can add to it.
Sweet.
So, did you guys all receive the letter that we sent out?
We did.
Okay, so I'll save kind of going through that and just speak to, it looks like we have broad support for it. I think one of the questions that I would ask is, if it were to be, it sounds like from what I've heard that we're kind of moving in a direction towards doing a detour and a 1 day closure. And if that were not the case, I guess in trying to understand everyone's interest in talking to people on Main Street here, my one question would be what constituency would be benefited by doing the lane closure? Because I think, if I put myself in the shoes of a resident too, it's going to be kind of a pain in the butt as well. And it seems like
truck
certainly
traffic, yeah.
businesses are interested in doing a nice clean 1 day, try to help these guys get their job done as soon as possible.
Mhm.
Speaking to us specifically, the thing that would be, I think, particularly detrimental for our business is that if they do the lane closure, or if we do the lane closure, and my best understanding of what the contractors are describing to me, that we'd have off and on disruption of our southeast driveway for 1 to 2 weeks. And I'm sure you're all familiar with our parking lot. Most people are not leaving from the same driveway that they entered, and otherwise it's going to require them to back up. Especially, in the cases that they're usually using the parking lot, which will be, of course, closed because we have a trench there, bore rig, throughout different periods of the construction. But, and then additionally, our pumps to the south, 1 and 2 and 5 and 6. I think people would be able to get gas there, but it would require backing up. And so with that driveway closed, we're rendered pretty pretty hampered for that 1 to 2 weeks, which makes up a pretty significant portion of the summer season for us. And I would just, add to that with the bridge construction coming up. And I think other, businesses are probably feeling the same. We really want to be
Yeah.
operating on all cylinders, and trying to put ourselves in a good position heading into that, disruption. So,
Yeah, that would mean a lot to us if you guys would vote on a 24-hour closure. That'd be really helpful for all of our businesses. So, yeah, I think that's kind of what we're looking and searching for. And if you guys have any other questions of how it will affect other people's business in town, it'd be great. We'd love to listen and be all ears. But that's basically how it was gonna affect us. It would be pretty detrimental for a 1 to 2 week closure. And thank you for your time.
yeah, appreciate it.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you. There any other folks who want to speak? I see no one leaping, so we'll move on. All right. Reports, 5A from staff. We'll start with the library.
Good evening, everyone. So during April, Michelle Jacobs and I visited downtown businesses to ask for donations for the summer learning program. And as always, the businesses in Osceola have been very generous in their support of that program. We had 3,972 items circulated, 171 public computer uses, 1,554 ebook checkouts, and 64 new patrons. And that number is up from what you normally see because we had the Osceola pre-K classes come and they were able to get library cards. So that was very exciting. We added 182 new items to our collection, and I began my annual weeding of our collections. And so far, we did inspirational fiction, mysteries, science fiction, fantasy, and large print. In April, we held our usual slate of events at the library with Storytime, Lego, and chess clubs, lunch with the librarian, tech help, fiber friends, and the WMPL book discussion. And I also took materials to Evergreen and Millside Apartments and Christian Community Home. The Schools Out event offered an opportunity to decorate a small birdhouse, and the Adult Creators Club made collages. And then on April 25th, we hosted our first ever plant and seed swap, and over 50 people brought plants and seeds and exchanged them and talked gardening. It was a great opportunity for plant lovers. And most of those plants were found new homes on that Saturday, and the rest we put out on a cart, and they were gone by Tuesday morning. So it was great. Michelle's been very busy planning the 2026 Summer Learning Program events and reading program, and this year's theme is Unearth the Story, and we'll kick off on Saturday, June 6th with Bruce the Bug Guy. So if you like bugs, come and visit us. If you don't, probably stay away that day. Any questions?
Any questions? No? Thank you.
Thanks, Ann.
Sam.
All right. Fire.
Where?
Right?
Like you yelled it.
Hi, everybody. It's a little bit slower month. We had 9 runs this month, 6 in the village of Osceola, 2 in the town of Farmington, 1 mutual aid with Allied Dresser, and run breakdown was 2 grass brush fires, 4 medical lift assists, and 3 alarms. Our training for April consisted of hazmat ops boom training in the mill pond. Between Amory and us, we're the only 2 now that have this boom that can dispense across the water to contain fuel spills. So we learned today that there isn't really anybody over in Minnesota up on this end that has these. So we may end up with the training, we may end up getting called quite a bit for that if there is spills. Upcoming trainings, we did seed and size up last night. Obviously, it's running around over by Quick Trip. And then we're going to be doing pump operations the next meeting. Our tanker, 1483, the tank is ordered. We got a little bit delayed news. It's going to be 18 to 24 weeks before it gets built. So we were at 12. So I'm just hoping that the whole tank lasts during that time. So one of the brush fires was a 10 to 15 acre island up north of Horse up here on the river. And we took our boat we have a pump on it, and we went up there and fought that fire for 4 hours. But we had never gotten it. It would have been a 2-day fire if we would have been backpacking water in and that. So it really worked out well. So, any questions?
Couple.
Okay.
Where are we at for fire danger right now? Oops, sorry.
Thanks.
It bounces from day to day on
Yeah,
medium to high. So
Have we been medium or are we just,
it's
I thought there's like, I was trying to pull the DNR website up and I can't get it, but there's like medium, high, very high and extreme.
yeah,
Okay.
and we're right at the medium to high level most days. So I haven't put on any burning bans because here it's greener. It's pretty green and it does burn slow.
Sure.
The fire that we ended up going on the river was down trees, on an island full of down trees.
Got it.
So
I was going back to the conversation from last year about how we started having a conversation about nuisance properties and grass fires and you were worried about in town.
yep,
Nothing ever came of it last year. I think there ended up being a pointing match about who does enforcement and
right.
do you write letters and how do we make it happen?
Yep.
Are we gonna end this year with a whole bunch of not sure what to do, or are we gonna actually enforce them?
I can't answer right now.
That was a loaded question.
Yeah,
I know you
it's
can't
loaded.
answer it, but I'd like to see us actually follow through with it.
It'd be nice, yes.
I know it's not all on
It's
you,
hard
but
with
it's,
nuisance properties because of getting landowners to conform to it. Because of course it's the villages, it's not the villages per se.
it impacts you and police and public works.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does. That's one of the reasons, like I said, with our,
If we just maintained the properties in town and forced everybody to it, we could probably save 250,000 in a grass rig, right?
well, I still have properties in the town of Farmington.
You could probably save a little bit then.
Save a little bit.
Thanks.
Thanks.
All right, thank you. Police.
How's it going, guys?
Hi.
All right. We had a pretty eventful April. Let's see. We compiled 86 incident reports and 3 traffic crash reports. Our officers made 6 arrests and 3 criminal referrals. We made 87 traffic stops and issued 34 citations. And our police administrative system processed 26 requests for records and background checks. Officer Tremblay responded to 15 school-related incidents and submitted a year-end wrap-up for the school board, kind of showing how the program's going, how it's benefiting our schools. And we're looking to meet with the school here in the next month or so to talk about what's working, what we're looking to change for next year, pros and cons, that sort of a thing. So I'll keep you updated with that. Otherwise, some of the more notable calls that we responded to included 3 domestic-related calls, each of which involved felony charges, a response to a vehicle slide-in where the driver was arrested for a WI second offense, traffic stop where the driver failed to immediately pull over and was arrested for possession of methamphetamine along with the passenger. And we assisted St. Croix Falls with 3 events that led to arrests as well. We responded to a juvenile runaway call. She was subsequently located out of state. We used a pretty wide array of investigative techniques for that. We used our flock network, coordinate with other agencies, and we were ultimately able to find her and reunite her with her guardian. What's great about these types of instances, we almost use them to enhance kind of our investigative methods. So if we were to have a more critical incident, this isn't the first time we're going to be doing this sort of a thing. So, so luckily that worked out really well. We also responded to a report of a 6-year-old who had wandered from their residence. Osceola Fire, the ambulance, St. Croix Falls PD, and Polk County Sheriff's Office also responded. Luckily, that juvenile was located a short time after the call came out nearby the residence. And, what was really cool about that call is once word got out, all the community kind of took a approach and started looking around and reported back to us. And I just happened to be off duty, but coming back through town and caught it and just going through town, seeing all the people come out of their houses and walk around and look. It was something special. So thanks to everyone who responded to that. Officer Revin investigated a grooming complaint through his ICAC affiliated task force. We looked into that and we were able to coordinate again with outside agencies and identify the individual and bring that incident to a conclusion. So the training that Tanner went to has been very beneficial as far as networking and again, enhancing his investigative capabilities to bring these incidents to a conclusion. So our officers also responded to a domestic incident involving a non-English speaking victim. We were able to utilize translator service through county for that, and we were able to process that call and come to a charging decision. So just again, one of those oddball calls that you occasionally have to work through, and did a good job with that. As far as administrative, we carried out a long gun shoot at the Osceola Run Gun Club. This is our annual shoot where we qualify with our long guns and work on transitioning, long gun, handgun, and whatnot. It just enhances the officers' capabilities with our department issued long guns. So we also got the squad garage cleaned out. We thank you, Paul, for letting us use that floor squeegee. That came in pretty clutch. We got our squad room updated, cleaned out. We got our office supply closet. Again, just kind of taking that time to keep our space in the building nice and clean, maintaining that infrastructure. We did notice that the concrete, some of the spots in the garage is starting to erode and flake away. So talking to admin about maybe getting that fixed and epoxy sealed just so we can maintain that and avoid a costly repair down the road. I'm sure you guys have heard, Officer Miller submitted his letter of resignation. His last day with us will be this Thursday on the 14th. He accepted a position with St. Croix Falls PD, citing better benefits and opportunities for his career path. Cade was a great officer working for us, and we look forward to filling his position and wish him luck in his future endeavors. And lastly, we're looking to host another community event in June. We're going to do like a cops and bobbers type event where our officers are going to get the mill pond. We had some fishing equipment donated to us. Dick's Fresh Market was kind enough to donate some food, so lunch will be provided. There's this opportunity to hang out with the community, get some kids into fishing, and throw some lines into the mill pond there. So I hear they do have trout, so they do. Otherwise, yeah, just thank you to Dick's Fresh Market, Bill's Ace, Staple, and the Osceola Lions Club for sponsoring the event. So we look forward to hosting that, and we'll keep you in the loop with how that goes. So, any questions?
You looking to start advertising?
For the event?
No,
Yeah,
for the position on.
Oh, you're hoping to. Yep, we added that as an agenda for you guys to discuss how we want to approach that, but we're hoping to be able to open that up and get that spot filled as soon as possible.
Okay, thanks.
That'll be agenda item L when we get into other business to talk
Mhm.
about that, so. Anything else? Thank
y'all.
you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Public Works.
Good evening, everyone.
Hello.
Really busy month. Staff of 2 and sometimes 1 during the month of April, but we still got a lot accomplished. And even moving into May. As we continue to move into May, we look forward to a staff of 5. Everybody will be back, and you have 2 seasonals. We feel very fortunate this year. We have a couple of returning seasonals, the high school age, and oftentimes we get 0 applications, and this time we're bringing back a couple who are going to hit the ground running immediately. So we look forward to that. Also, one of the reasons why we decided to cancel the mowing contract this year on top of some property sales and the additional staff. We're going to try and save $15,000 to divert those funds. Look forward to seeing a memo here in the future for admin and finance to direct those funds into other maintenance actions that are much needed. Outside of that, obviously street sweeping was a heavy priority. We took a massive amount of sand, debris, and garbage off the streets. We were able to get the village of Dresser done as well. Spent quite a few hours, 65 hours. Sweeping streets. Also throw downtown cleanup, bump outs lots, fresh wood chips, sort of beautification efforts are in full stride for the village in its entirety. 20 stumps were removed from trees that we disposed of this winter. We took down another 5 in the month of April. Excuse me. And we'll continue to take down any diseased trees. We'll begin to lump those stumps together and get someone in here to take care of them appropriately. We're now in a full transition to summer equipment. Mowers are up and running. They're being utilized. Dump trucks are ready. We'll start moving some stuff around. We have numerous maintenance actions and projects on top of that. The monopole's been installed. If anybody has noticed, fencing and site construction remediation continue. Fences in, monopole's up. Again, just waiting for a few more things, obviously, but the site looks pretty good. And looking forward to Xcel Energy providing power. And we'll also be getting some fiber in there as well. Some underground boring will occur. But we ensured to take time to work with the Braves to make sure that they were fully set up and ready to go for a May 17th opener. So they're all set. And, happy with everything at this time. Again, continued work in the parks. We're looking forward to opening Okie Park's restrooms this week now that we're out of the below or at freezing levels, as they are seasonal restrooms. They'll be open for business before the weekend. Phase 2 of Mill Pond restroom begins here in May. As a matter of fact, it starts next Monday. Full kickoff. We're hoping for a June 4th deadline to have that done by Straight Line Builders. We're working diligently on making sure that all the supplies and everything is being procured. As at times things are 14, 15, 30 days out for receiving commercial or handicap accessible grade items that are necessary to rebuild this bathroom. Then, of course, we continued to assist Pember on Cascade Falls. As they made tremendous progress. They had a lot of questions nearly daily that we were able to just jump in and then answer and keep that project moving. So that it could open by this last weekend. Building maintenance standpoints, Senior Center will have some excellent blinds installed in May. Work with a contractor to get some commercial grade blinds that are matching on first level and second level library. And then changes to the HVAC system occurred and made all the appropriate changes. We're going to shut down upstairs hot water units. We're looking forward to our first preventative maintenance action here shortly, and filter changes and cleanings and everything and beyond. So that was April.
That was a big one.
Yeah. Any questions?
Yeah, the tree coffins, I see there, you got them highlighted with some pink around them.
Yeah.
So these things
Yeah.
every year get kind of crazy.
Yeah.
You talked about in the past about some potential plans on, taking those out and replacing them with something else, or
Yeah.
what do you got any ideas?
Yeah, so right now I just sort of pointed that out that we are in the process of also working on our curb and sidewalk replacement plan. As you know, further in the agenda, we have street maintenance coming up as well. But in the interim, we are getting those things repaired. We're identifying them. At this point in time, we're working with the state. We're going to have a very large scale project on the state's behalf. And that's when the state says, hey, village, what would you like done to sort of piggyback on?
Yeah.
Right now, that's looking at like 2034. So in the meantime, we're gonna do what we can to make sure that things stay AD compliant within our budget and within our scope, and get things fixed appropriately. But at that time, we're really gonna look at a possible major transition to the tree crates.
Yeah.
And with that date being so far out, look forward to working with Nicole and Discover Osceola, and maybe finding some potential solutions too there where we can maybe do something different.
Yeah.
Less maintenance, less expensive.
Yeah. It's kind of too bad. I mean, they did their job for a long time, but trees growing and the ground is moving and
These temperature changes.
everything else.
These
is
temperature
happening.
changes are
Yeah.
really, they're not helping anything.
That tree looks like it's kind of at its growth limit for that spot.
Right.
You just gonna replace it?
The tree in itself? No, so those rings that you see in the cast iron, we cut them out as those trees grow. So last year, I think, as I mentioned, we talked about it. We addressed every single tree grade. Unfortunately, we're just seeing some severe infrastructure at this point where you're not just replacing channeling that supports the grades, you gotta replace the panels that the channeling is embedded in to support them. So
Is the tree pushing the sidewalk up?
not at this time.
It looks like there's enough movement around that one. I know where that's at, that it's like, it seems like it's, maybe the tree is needing to grow out and that's what's moving it.
Yeah, so right now I do have 3 spaces that I had bid directly in the downtown area that are in poor shape. We sort of identified a 3-part thing. One, we have a sinking curb. We have a tree that continues to grow, and then the failing infrastructure that supports the grates around it. That's really causing the issue.
I know trees don't last forever.
They don't.
That's easy to take down.
Yeah.
In 10 years, it might be more challenging.
Yes.
What's the, I have a Pember question, but before the Pember one, the hillside that was sloughing, it still doesn't look great. And I know that was an alternate. We were going to spray it with something, or we have a plan for what's going to happen there.
We don't currently have any plan or funding for that hillside at this time.
What is left on the stairs?
They're installing the fence this week, and that's the last bit. We have our punch list and final walkthrough on Tuesday next week, so they should meet the deadline of substantial completion by May 15th.
They were working on the deck last week.
Mhm.
Do you think there was any kind of delivery or procurement issues with wood?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so either, which tells me that, again, that their arguments on delays and things that were behind, they could have been redecking that a while ago.
It was the custom fence was the one that we were worried
I know,
about.
but why are they still working on the deck?
One of the
They
main
could have did
reasons.
that a while ago.
I can answer that mostly because that was our primary access in keeping the falls open is with the old stairs. So the deletion of the old stairs and the new stairs going in, that's why that project fell.
There was
to
a
the
lot
end.
of reasons why it fell, and none of them I think were us. I was a little disappointed in what I heard about Pember and their supplier. I think it just speaks to the fact that we got to keep the contractors held responsible.
Absolutely.
Anything else for Todd?
No.
Alrighty, thank you. Utilities.
Evening, everybody.
Hello.
April was a doozy for us then too. We had that low zone tower, this one up here, drained and inspected the interior wet coating for coating failures. Those coatings are unbelievably expensive. So we were performing that work once every 2 years, and we actually switched up. We're doing it once every year on that tower. That requires the draining, taking that tank out of service, and then it requires constant maintenance from operators to sustain pressure in the zone using the pilot valves on our clay valves while the tower is offline. Air relief I talked about in my report is actually located in a confined space. We'll probably pull that out, and so we're not down there in a confined space trying to rebuild the air relief. But that's going to be a project for another day. We have to identify what part kit we need, who makes it, et cetera, et cetera. Chasing down parts on things like that can be kind of difficult as one company sold to the next, and the rep is not your rep anymore. And the most interesting thing that we always run into here is the Minnesota-Wisconsin border, and they usually make us go out of Milwaukee, even though the part kit is like across the river. And so it can become quite a thing, but navigable nonetheless. That influent pump was able to be brazed and repaired after finding a crack in the housing along water and enter the motor section. That pump, brand new back in 2005, was like 40 grand. I couldn't imagine what a new one costs now. So we're super happy that we were able to repair that, keep that pump going. So clarifier drive chain, we've identified that chain. It's on order. We'll just have to work really fast to get that done. So we'll have it all pre-cut, put together. Wish us luck. I mean, worst case scenario, we'll put the old one back on if something doesn't go right, but we'll hope for the best on that one. So, any questions?
Where are we at with the water project?
Which one?
The new line up to the water tower. Sorry, tower, excuse me.
We had our pre-construction meeting. Eric can talk about this a little bit more, but
We have that on the agenda too later, don't we?
yeah, it's on the agenda too later, so.
Okay, what agenda item is it? 'Cause I missed it.
It's the,
F, item F.
nighttime and detour consideration.
Yeah, it's item F.
The detour or nighttime work consideration for the Bluff Tower Water
Oh,
Main
got
Replacement
it.
Project.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think we'll just leave
I'll
it,
hold my questions.
leave it till then.
Perfect, thanks.
Any other questions?
Where are you at with hiring?
We've had a couple of applicants. We're gonna chase those down and see what that's at. I've reached out to Wisconsin Rural Water. The climate's slow right now. You know, the hiring climate's really slow, they said. So it was, yeah, I guess we'll just leave it at that and take it right there.
Cool. Thanks.
Making progress on it. We'll get somebody. The key is getting the right candidate in. You know, we have a
We need another Ralph.
Yeah.
No.
Put a picture,
But-
can you be this guy?
You know, and that's part of it is getting the right candidate. Our role is so technical that, I mean, one day you're dealing with some, you know, metering issues and internet issues and API issues, and the next you're diagnosing what's wrong with your treatment plant, what's wrong with your bugs, you know, microbiology. It's a really diverse role, and you really got to get that right candidate in there that has that thirst for knowledge, can learn, you know, and has the right experiences to be able to do this long term, you know.
How many guys you got now?
Well, it's Brian and I.
Yeah.
Now I'm going through my report, being like operators. I was like, yeah, it's just us.
I'm glad you're not rushing, because I can appreciate what you just said about the fact that it's not, you have one skill, you got about 10, 20.
We want, you know, I want somebody here for the next 20 years. You know, Ralph retired after 40 years. I've been here 13. Ryan's been here 5, 6 now. You know, we want those long-term employees, and we want to retain them. So that the knowledge that, you know, Ralph retired with is invaluable. I mean, the guy was here for 42 years. It was, hey, Ralph, where is this? You know, where's this manhole? You know, where's this air relief for one of the, hey, did you guys map that air relief? What air relief? Yeah, we have an air relief, and, you know, it's leaking. So it's just those things that left with him. You know, we wish Ralph the best. We talked to him actually quite a bit. He's doing really well. He's very happy. But getting that long-term employee is what we're looking for. So, thank you for the question.
Any other questions? All right,
Thank you.
thank you. Building inspection.
Yeah, we had 14 permits, one manufactured new home. The rest were basically just alterations and some light in-home work. So no major permits compiled yet for the month of April. We should see that increase here shortly, as we have some relatively large projects coming online here this month. So
What
good
do you
look
mean?
at
What's a permit last for a year?
that. Building permit, yeah.
If it doesn't get finished, what happens? It just doesn't. get finished?
The discretion of staff or board, depending on what type of project it is.
Had somebody point out the eyesore on Main Street.
They've never filed, on Main Street, which one?
There's, well, at 35, the lack of siding, partially sided house over,
Oh.
Fourth?
Yeah, it's something like
I
that.
don't think it's Fifth. It's got to be Fourth. And
Oh,
I know which one you're talking about. Yeah, it's been a while
Oh, it's a,
that they've been working on that.
yeah,
yeah, you could get an extension. They will give that to you.
I know some of the answers to these. So
Yeah, so
it'd be nice to get that one finished, because I feel like that's going on.
it's been a long time,
Wish
2 years.
Yeah.
And Ben does come in town and check out the progress of some of the building permits too.
Yeah.
that one would be a cool one to see get pressured.
Then on to the admin report. We have petitions for annexation in front of you tonight. One old existing one, and then 3 new parcels that are looking to be annexed into the village. And from that, the Whispering Acres PUD, we plan to see at least more plating and development in that in the near future with Planning Commission and board here in the next coming months. Their plan has significantly increased over the next few years of what it originally was, because we have new developers who are going to develop that site from the original one that applied for the PUD and annexation last year. We worked on and finished the development and intent agreement with D&K. I have 3 commercial and industrial companies looking to relocate into Osceola. All 3 of them seem to be to the point of site selection. So we're hoping that we have some more good news for all these projects in the near future with that. I'm finalizing some potential tax increment information with them, figuring out what they're developing and the cost of it and what type of infrastructure they need to get these projects over the line. So hoping to have more public information for that soon. The big elephant in the room of why hasn't gone started yet? Good question. I'm trying to find the answers for you too. With the TID agreements, they need to be finished by a certain date, or we're going to run into some issues and we can void the TID agreement by the substantial completion of the project. We're not there yet. They still have time to meet all their obligations, so we're not to that issue yet. And keep in mind that the TID incentives are only paid if they meet the TID agreement. So if they don't build, we're out nothing. They're out nothing except for the cost that went into getting the site ready. So in terms of that, though, I have no date of when they plan on breaking ground. 2 weeks ago, he told me mid-May. Well, that's here. So now I'll probably get told early June. So hopefully that breaks ground relatively quickly. The big news in the last month is we were awarded a local road improvement grant for Zindas. That is it's a big win for the community. Thank SEH for filling that grant application out. This allows us to fix up that road. We have what, 3 years? 3 years to do that? 5?
5, and actually, so it can push to 6, depending on how the state agreement pulls together. 5 to 6 years.
So that road, I know that's the one I get asked about a lot in the community of when's that getting redone. We finally have an answer saying in the next 5 years, we will get Zindas paved and reconstructed.
Are we gonna abandon the end of Zindas?
We've had conversations back and forth with that because of access and emergency items. We're still not entirely concerned on that answer right now. We haven't obviously gotten to full design yet on that road yet, so we'll cross that when we get to that point and figure out what's best for the community going forward with that. Because we are trying to limit access onto 35 wherever we can. Just like WisDOT's doing with 35 also, if we can eliminate more access points, it does help, but sometimes they are unavoidable.
Did we include Zindas in the CIP?
I think it's on the it's on the illustrative, isn't it though? It's not in the
I thought it was sooner than that, but I don't remember. Food for thought. Don't need to burn time on it.
It's on there. It's on there somewhere. One of the years. I can't remember what year it's on there for.
Okay.
But that's part of the reason why you go out for the LRIP is because it's on your plan to do it.
Yeah.
The Ridge Road, we had the pre-construction meeting and they started construction this week. So Ridge Road onto 35 is currently closed off up into where they're constructing it. So anyone will have to take the detour around. They've already ripped up all the asphalt on the hillside, so we're hoping to see that project progress. We also had the pre-con meeting for the Osceola Bluffs project. That's looking like, the Osceola Water Bluff project. That's looking like a June 1st start date now instead of May 18th. They ran into some was it permanent issue?
Issues, conflicts with the power line running up and coordinating schedule with Excel to get the lines moved. What potentially is delaying.
Where is that power line?
So it runs up the access road. So right by the mill gas station back up.
Yeah.
And that's right where we're running the water main as well.
So they have to, where would they move that, do you know?
They'll just move it over. So there's 2 different locations going up the road. One kind of at the top of the hill where it turns corner, if you're familiar with that access road at all up there.
Yep.
And then a little bit farther up as well, kind of in the woods. And so those 2 locations need to basically move the line over a little bit.
You got a site utility plan, right?
Yeah.
Was it not on there?
No, it's on there. So what we have for our plans is, we locate the existing utilities that are out there, put our proposed water main location on the plans, and then coordinate with utilities for relocations. So
The issue is getting Excel scheduled to actually move it.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
I knew that answer, but I don't want that to come up at the end as some kind of excuse why they couldn't get done.
Yeah, no, no concerns over schedule for them as far as completion dates, even with this. Exchanged some emails even today with Excel to try to get them moving along.
Their answer is that we're coming into storm season. We'll try our best, right?
They're trying to coordinate. There's two different cell carriers on the tower up there that they need to provide power for. And they want to temporarily turn them off of power to relocate the line. And
Are they gonna run a new line?
But they put a generator.
On theory, they probably have one.
we talked about that too. So the option of a generator is still on the table, of just running a generator to supply power to those, which we might ultimately do. But it's them working with their customers and outages and scheduling of their crews too.
As we mentioned, Cascade Falls continues to progress positively, and we should be open up, fully operational this weekend. Staff and SEH, we've met numerous times in the last month regarding many of our infrastructure projects that we have going on throughout the village all summer long. We had our first stormwater utility bill charge in the last billing cycle. There were only a few people who called to want to know why this was going on, so it was relatively well received in terms of the answers they were looking for. Most people understood why they were being charged this, as it's been an underserved now utility for a long time. Admin Finance gave us direction on the budget process of a 0% levy increase with no staff reductions. That was at the April meeting, and we've been working on budgets since then, or helping progress to that in the future. As you mentioned, Officer McCade Miller submitted his resignation letter a few weeks ago. Final day is Thursday. I just want to once again thank the Osceola Police Department for their fantastic job in assisting with the location of the missing juvenile the last month. I had the opportunity to speak with a middle school class that came out to the skate park who want to know more about the civic project of the skate park and how it happens, the funding for it, how private entities and public entities can work together for a public good. So that's the second year I've done that now for that class. And it's always good to inform kids that they can do something positive in the community if they find the right people and have a project they believe in. That it's funny to think that project started from Drew Lind 15 years ago, who now represents MSA when it comes by. So
Yeah.
it just came from a dream of two teenage kids and then got finish line for Marcia. So community engagement goes a long ways for those type of projects. One of the big issues lately has been the Highway 243 bridge project. The update I got from the state is the exact same update on the MnDOT website. So I have not gotten any more information than anyone else. They had some delays in letting the bid out, and until they have a contractor, we won't get a timeline. The answer I'm giving you is the exact same one you can find on the website. So I have no special knowledge on that project right now either.
What did they say, Coast Guard or?
It's a Coast Guard issue, yeah. Permitting for the, and if you've seen their environmental review, it's in my office. It's this thick. So there's a lot of stuff they have to go through.
It's been a while since I seen a Coast Guard cutter come up the river. So, hopefully we'll see that with the new bridge.
Shipping port soon.
My God.
Mhm.
All right.
Cargo containers.
Port of Osceola, that's what I
Container
heard.
ship.
Any questions on that update?
Any questions for Devin?
No.
I got a couple. So River Street gone, if Gone doesn't go and it stays a vacant lot at this point, is there any impact on our money to redo River Street?
In terms of money, yeah, there would be a slight loss in revenue because the increment that we'd be collecting. And most likely, as long as we continue growing TID 3, we could offset that by other development within TID 3.
That's not a huge issue.
It wouldn't be a huge issue, no. It just might have a little more impact on the upfront cost of where that's going to come from, because we're going to use some increment they gained the last few years. But the hope is that other development within TID 3 could potentially offset that. At this point, I don't think this project is not going to happen.
Not going to stop us from moving forward.
It won't. And I still think that this project is going forward.
Well, and it needs to, the work that we're doing there, I think needs to happen. The end of it, maybe not, but the water sewer main updates.
Because keep in mind, so we're paying it through the tax increment districts, it's not project specific, but that project in the TID district is a big factor in the money we receive because it is $22 million of improvement in the TID district.
How did we pick Zindus
Um,
over Third or any of the other streets?
was it Pacer rating, Todd?
Correct.
Yeah, the Pacer rating, it was the lowest Pacer rated road in the village. And it does serve about 400 residents out there, if not more, right? 500?
Yeah, so part of the project too, it's repairing the road, but also addition of a trail and crossing of 35 at Ridge / Zindus up at Quick Trip.
So, okay, so this, it isn't just repaving it, there's other things?
Yeah.
Okay. Where are we at with the rest of the residential behind Quick Trip? Is that all done? Did we sell all those lots?
There's still one parcel left. At this point, we did have someone who was looking to buy it. He backed out. I'm not sure Werner's gonna be interested after this project, but they're expressed interest.
We've done a good job. You've done a good job getting rid of it and getting stuff built there, so.
So we're hoping if Werner has success with these 5 buildings, they might want to build 2 more over there. So
The road's getting in and there's some nice development, so it's either way, it's fine. And it's a three-month window on the street?
We're looking at August for completion of that, late August.
Yeah, their schedule puts them in July completion, but the contract is end of August. That's right. Yeah, now substantial completion in August.
Right?
I'm good.
Any other questions? Okie dokie. Explore Osceola. No report? Anything to add?
Introduction?
Well, that's what I don't know if you're prepared or not. I can offer one unless you would like to.
Anything's better than what we've had the last few months.
Yeah, so I'm on, I think, week 3. I'm Nicole Bartley. Yeah, I've had a lot of meetings with a lot of different people. Met with Todd today. I'll meet with him again tomorrow. So the bid has put out some priorities for us to go after. So I'll start with that. Low-hanging fruit is benches on the street downtown right now. But yeah, I'm gearing up for a very, very busy summer. So.
I've heard your business owners really like you, so congrats.
Thank you. Yeah. Any questions?
I'll speak for the bid that the bid meetings I've been in, folks are really excited that Nicole's here, and I'm excited that we've got energy out of the bid and out of Explore, and I think we're moving in a really good direction. So
yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
I was trying to be gentle. I didn't know. All right. Other business, 6A, ordinance 2602 and 2603, annexing from the town of Farmington, approved April 2025.
This is a final step for something that slipped through the cracks last year when we approved the annexation. We kind of forgot to put the resolution in there. So this is the ordinance, excuse me. This is the ordinance to finalize the annexation that was approved last year of the 2 parcels south of the airport.
I would make the motion that we adopt ordinance as written.
I will second.
Second by Nicole. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Done. 6B, ordinance 2604, annexing 3 parcels from the town of Farmington.
Yes, so here is the parcels. Oh, I gotta get it. The map is kind of tricky. These are the 3 parcels that are being petitioned for annexation tonight. They did go through Planning Commission last week. They went through unanimously without opposition. The recommendation was for approval. The town of Farmington has been notified of this process. There's been no objection there, but at the given the state statute of what's requested here, the petitioner is asking for annexation through that process of petition. So we'd be looking for a recommendation of approval. The potential landowner in the future is here tonight if you have any further questions about the land.
Do they come, what do they get zoned when they come on board?
We'll get that. We'll be zoning them. It'd be
They come in as nothing and we pick it later?
we'll be going R2 with these with a PUD overlay in the future.
R2 is what?
The medium residential.
Are they zoned ag in the meantime? And
Zoned ag,
taxed as ag until,
they'll be zoned R2 right away or pretty quickly here for the PUD to go over the top of it. Because the R2 would be the base layer that we could start with.
any motion on this or discussion?
If there's no discussion, I will make a motion on ordinance 2604 annexing 3 parcels from the town of Osceola. Or
Farmington.
Farmington, excuse me.
Any second on that?
Second.
Thank you, Mike. Do we have a motion and a second? Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the motion carries. 6C, Resolution 2610, Transportation Support for a Long-Term Sustainable Funding Solution of the State's Transportation Fund.
Yeah, this is just this is a resolution to support the future ongoing funding of roads for the state of Wisconsin. This was something the League of Wisconsin Municipalities asked us to pass.
Any discussion on this?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2610 in support for the long-term sustainable funding solution for Wisconsin Transportation Fund.
A lot of syllables. We have a second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. 6D, Board consideration and action on a financial aid agreement with the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources for DNR SDW project number 520309 related to the Bluff Water Main project. One mistake. We can tally them up as I read things.
You want me to go?
Yeah, go for this one.
So this is the Safe Drinking Loan program through the DNR and funding for the Bluff Tower Water Main project. So this is the financial aid agreement. The next agenda item is also in correlation with the program. So if you'll recall, we were awarded a low interest loan. It's about half the market. I think it was at 2.2 is what we got the loan at through the state, through this program. And we also got principal forgiveness, which is basically a grant. You borrow the money, but you don't have to pay it back. And we got that at an amount of 45% of eligible costs, which on this project, pretty much everything is eligible because it's needed to be done for the water main. So this is specific to water infrastructure, this loan. And so these are steps in securing those funds for the project, both of these next two agenda items.
Are we guaranteed that they will forgive that $508,000? Like there's no risk that they wouldn't forgive it?
We are guaranteed by the, do we have an earlier agreement or their award of it? We are guaranteed of it.
And this is the agreement right here that allows that.
Okay. And then the bonding is to cover what's left over, I'm assuming.
Exactly. The bonding is to cover the remaining loan that we don't get forgiven.
Okay.
Exactly.
And to pay that back with whatever interest is due.
Yes.
Okay. Yep. Any discussion on the financial aid agreement or questions? If not, I will entertain a motion. Don't all move at once.
I will make a motion.
Thank you, Van.
A second.
Thank you, Nicole. We have a motion by Van and a second by Nicole. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, carried. 6E, Resolution 2611, authorizing the issuance and sale of up to $622,102 water system revenue bond series 2026 and providing further details and covenants with respect thereto and approval of related financial assistance agreements.
So as you pointed out, this is for the loan portion and that we basically agree to pay it back. And go into agreement with the DNR on this.
And these bonds will be supported by the utility.
Yeah, they're revenue bonds, not general obligation bonds, so they're supported by the utility. Yep.
Is there any questions on that? Do we have a motion?
I will make a motion to resolution 2611 authorizing issuance and sale up to 622,102 water system revenue bonds, series 2026, providing for other details and covenants with respect thereto and approval of related financial assistance agreement.
Awesome. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Tony. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in support signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Done. All right, 6F, US Highway, Wisconsin Highway 35, I assume?
Yep.
Detour and nighttime work consideration for the Bluff Tower Water Main Replacement Project.
I'll let you know this one. We've been updated.
Yeah. So this is what was spoke to in public comment as well. And so the Bluff Tower Water Main project includes replacing the water main up to the tower and then connecting to the water that's in Highway 35. So we have to open up Highway 35 to make the connection to replace this 1917 water line that's running through there. And in our contract documents, we're required that at least one lane of traffic remain open at all times. So they would have flaggers out there directing traffic to accomplish that. And as I'm sure all of you are aware, that's a very busy area of the village. And with 243 coming in and people entering from the south, it's busy all the time. It seems like, any daytime. And to be able to do the work under what we call lane restrictions and not detouring, it's more difficult for them because of the space that they have allotted. So you have an excavator that has to sit out in the road, and you have to get traffic come by, and you've got, the arm of the excavator that swings. And so the contractor said that to do the work under lane restrictions, estimated 1 to 2 weeks, depending on how that goes. And I guess I should say too, that because we required lane restrictions and didn't allow detour in the contract documents, that's why we're at the village board asking if we can change basically the contract documents to allow a detour. And there's interest of the board. I'd probably bring it to the board anyway, because there was a lot of interest in this traffic control element of the project.
And that's to do the 24-hour period,
Yeah.
right?
Yep. So they believe that they can get in if they close the road, or are able to close the road, that they can get in and complete that connection, put in the new line, and get it open back up to traffic in a day. And just
It's traffic with temporary road conditions, right? Either plating or class 5 or something. So there's still have asphalt repair.
exactly. So it'll be brought up with gravel to be passable. And then they will come back and pave it under flagging.
So there's the other tasks that we talked about in previous meetings, because again, we did talk about this in great detail. You've got the initial excavation, you got excavation, you got asphalt patch, you got curb, and then probably apron,
Mhm.
because you're not going to maybe do, so there's still other outages, there's still other impact, we'll say.
Yes, and it should be noted that, there's other impacts besides this detour, especially to the mill. The water main comes right on their south side of the building, restrictions, parking restrictions to that, access onto 35 that Mitch mentioned on the southeast end. And we've been working a lot with Mitch and the contractor to figure out ways to best stage and keep that access open as much as possible without long-term closures. But it's going to be, this one-day detour to get it in. And as Mike mentioned, we'll have to come and pour the concrete curb, or we kind of come right through Mitch's driveway. And then after that, do the asphalt and the striping. So those will come, once they open up 35, it's in the contract that it has to be fully back open within 2 weeks to get the concrete and the asphalt and the striping all done.
Is this only a language change and no compensation?
Correct.
So we're only adding that we're allowing them the detour and not, or this other thing, right? Or the nighttime work, but we're still holding them to the 2-week window.
Correct. Yep. And we've also got in there message boards. So we'll be putting out message boards, if this is allowed or not, that, either lane restrictions coming on this date or detour road closed coming on this date that we'll put out. We've got 3 of them in the 3 different directions.
But that was all part of the lane, the message boards were part of the original contract.
Yes.
So is Minker actually asking for both of these, or they gave you 2?
They're asking for both, to have both options. So we first, standing out there looking at it, pre-con 2, how can we be more efficient at this? And with all the traffic there, they first asked, they said, well, would you be open to nighttime work of doing the work at night?
7 to 6 was their original ask.
6 is that's 7 p.m. during the week is still really, really busy. I'd say 7 to 9. And then up until probably like 5 to 6, I'm guessing, is still plenty busy. I'm not really keen on that because I feel like that's going to get abused. I like the idea of a 24-hour window. That seems to make the most sense. It's always made the most sense.
And, the nighttime work could be, and I think we're trying to open up options, to be efficient there and have less impact. We did talk to Mitch in the mill about nighttime work, which would be preferable than daytime work.
Their ultimate goal, I think staff recommendation too, was the 24-hour closure.
I'm struggling with the nighttime work because that is not in our community. That's not night. That's the beginning and the end of the day that are probably the busiest times in town.
So they're allowed to work for the contract 7 to 7 right now. So I guess nighttime work would be 7 to 7.
Sure.
The other 7 to 7.
Are we basically asking, would we prefer a 24-hour disruption? Like, I'm just trying to understand the 2 trade-offs. Either we have a 24-hour closure detour situation, or we have upwards of 2 weeks of 1-lane traffic. Like, those are kind of the choices that we have.
Correct.
But it sounds like there's also the added bit of night as well on this, right?
Oh, yeah, but I
There's 2
wanna,
different
it's
things
2
going
different. We're just trying to open up options.
Night closure is you're still gonna end up with single lane restrictions, and you're still gonna have the traffic flow problems. And it's gonna be the same thing that I brought up before. It's gonna be semis trying to make the turns.
It's just a lot less traffic.
Well, and the boom of the large excavator.
If that's really was their issue, that doesn't solve much of a problem because you're still got the swing, and you got dirt spoils, you got trench boxes. There's still a lot of equipment in there.
I have another question. How's the state looking at this? That's my next one.
Yeah, so we did meet with the state and talked about both of these options before I brought them to the board, and they're open to both. They're open to nighttime work as long as flaggers and any other traffic control devices are properly lit, and they actually said and the village approves.
So Pember had road permitting, right, when they did their work. that was pretty loosely enforced. They were encroaching into the traffic pretty bad a few days. So even though the state has a permit, I don't know who's enforcing it. And it was at the crosswalk. I mean, they were hanging way into traffic. I watched a few vehicles go at least a tire over to the other side. So I'm, as soon as we're done discussing, I would be all for a motion of the 24-hour window with no other changes to the contract language, because I don't want this to create, I don't want them to take the interpretation or have you rewrite it to say that they have somehow more than 2 more weeks to finish the rest of those other tasks that I mentioned, like the apron, the curb and stuff, because it's still going to impact those guys at the gas station and Busy Bee too. Because they'll have, paver equipment, compactors. There'll be a concrete truck in and out of there that's going to stop people from turning in. So I don't want it to go past 2 weeks.
Yep, that's still in there.
It'll be when it's all done.
But that's not changing in the contract as the
I
2
know,
weeks.
but I don't see exact contract language here, so I'm just stressing I don't want to see any other creep in language.
And I think if you keep it strictly to.
By the time his admins rewrite this, it could change a lot in the contract.
Well, and we won't be changing any contract language. It's just giving authorization for the detour or the nighttime work.
And your motion tonight would set that forward.
Yeah.
Are you gonna do that?
I was willing to let people talk a little bit more. I wasn't going to force it.
I mean, I guess I'm a little confused by the 24-hour thing because that would seem to make it more restrictive on them
It actually
than we
makes it easier
currently
because I
have
think
it.
Yeah,
they're
it
gonna-
makes it easier for them.
I think it's
though.
easier for them to do their work.
Yeah.
If we say you have 24 hours and you can close the road for
I think
24
the
hours.
issue is we're allowing them a 24-hour detour.
Because we don't have detour in the contract.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe I wasn't understanding
So
what you
it
were
gives them-
suggesting.
Yeah.
It gives them more
I
of
would
an
like to force them
opportunity
into
to
everything in
to
20
get everything done all at once.
Yeah, I would like to
rather
force
than-
them into 24, but I know they can't do it.
Yeah.
They can't schedule all those tasks.
No,
in
and that's
24 hours.
that's where I was getting quizzical. So
That's where I'm saying I'm fine with this. I just don't want it to change any other language and still keep them at the 2-week window for the rest of the tasks.
And you know as well as I do, the ground isn't gonna be ready for any of those other tasks right away until they properly pack it.
You can pack it quickly and you'd be fine. You just do testing and stuff. And
All right.
but I hope they're not letting the water and rain. And
Well,
stuff
that's just
contact.
it.
Scratch your garage floor.
Exactly.
So just to clarify, if Mike, you're suggesting that we would allow a 24-hour detour, this would be most efficient and from what I interpreted from the mill, the preferred outcome as well.
Did they imply how much more time they would need after that 24-hour? Like, could we say you can get your 24-hour, but you're down to a 1-week window then?
They did not. I guess I would ask you don't restrict further of the.
Could they do everything
it's
in a
gonna
week?
be
They
after
could, yeah.
after the detour. Like I said, it's going to be open but gravel until they get the curb done, as Mike mentioned, and then the paving follow. And they do have 2 weeks in there for that. I guess I wouldn't.
I'm probably okay with it. It would be neat to, I think they could do it. But I won't
So-
make that motion.
Cole talked about, so Cole's the project manager for Minger. And his plan is to get it paved as quick as he can. And when
Doesn't want to deal with washouts and erosion control and stuff like
You're
that.
going over 2 weeks then.
you know, I think he's doing the high early on the curb to get that done as quick as can. And we talked about too with the curb, we actually want to potentially do it in stages, half at a time, so that Mitch's driveway stays open, so it doesn't have to stay closed while that concrete cures either.
Sure.
But-
So they can pour at night too. In that 24 hour, they could probably even pour that concrete at the end of the 24 if they were really ambitious.
You have a motion?
You're just.
I guess you're not giving, but you just
I know I'm
said
not
there-
making a
you're-
motion because this is all the crap I brought up at the beginning that I wish we'd have wrote into the original
It
contract.
is a lot though.
And
yeah.
they're still gonna have issues with this. It's still not gonna be perfect. And I'm trying to find a way to try to,
Well, Well, you're being.
Where, I'm gonna ask you, remind me your name. I've already spoken. Mitch, thanks. I knew that. It just was there, right there.
All good.
When did you get a chance to really dig into this? When did it become apparent to you you had a 2-week window?
Well, Rick and Eric came and talked to me, I don't know how long.
Like
ago it
January,
was.
wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a while ago, and on the initial plans, I guess maybe on the 2 weeks.
That was the best I could push through the board at the time. So it's been there for a while. I'll make a motion here quick. I would really like to see Minger nail this down, and I won't make the extra motion of saying they're reduced to a week, but I want them to be really clear that we're doing this because we want to help the businesses and traffic flow, and it's better for everybody. So
Yeah, so and what Mike's referring to with the 2 weeks is that once they start working in Highway 35, it has to be back to pre-construction.
the way it is right now with
way it is
less
right now,
potholes.
Within 2 weeks. That's
With
that's the window that we.
Okay,
have in the
I'll make a
contract, so-
motion that we approve the detour option listed here with no other changes to the contract language.
I will second that.
We have a second by Mike, or a motion by Mike and a second by Van. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, it's done.
Any consideration for nighttime work?
No, because it doesn't really, it's the same, I don't know that it,
They're gonna do nighttime work in that 24 hours is my question.
So another.
oh, yeah,
Oh,
it's 24 hours, 24
Okay,
hours.
I
is
was making
design.
sure that
Okay.
that's, so it's assumed that they'll be doing nighttime work in that 24 hours, just so we're clear.
It's a 24-hour.
That would be my,
That would be-
24-hour
I
period.
just want the clarification on that,
Consecutive
yeah.
period.
Yeah,
I guess that was somewhat implied in the, I thought the way I read it.
You'd be surprised, yeah.
They do an hour of detour and then an hour of detour and an hour of detour. I did not think of that.
So the detour does require utilizing a town road, 248th.
Mhm.
And so we will have to get approval from the town of Osceola
Yeah.
for that. And I'm not really sure why this is a requirement, but DOT has said we also have to notify the railroad of the plan too. It's a road open to traffic. I don't know why they would have a say in anything of that, but they've said that they want us to contact them as well.
You might.
There is a possibility that town of Osceola says no. I'll be going to a board meeting and requesting to be on the agenda and requesting the detour. I would like to,
There's already a bunch of traffic that goes that way. I can't believe that they would say boo.
yeah,
Never know.
but you never know.
Or
Yeah,
nationality does not
so,
always enter.
you know,
into
to
the-
keep options open, to limit the impact to the businesses there, I would like to have the option of having nighttime work on the table as well,
Well, that's-
even without the detour. And so that's why I had the recommended motion to include both. Would the board be open to making a motion to allow nighttime work if deemed to be the least disruptive to businesses?
It's their baby in 24 hours. What they do with it, I don't know.
No,
Well, but
No,
he's
I
saying that
think
if
we
the
don't get
town,
it.
if
So
the town does not
Oh,
approve,
Yeah,
if
if
we
the town
don't,
says
and our
no.
plan goes kaput,
I would make
Hmm.
a motion that if
Okay.
my previous motion does not get approved by the township, that we offer the second option of nighttime work
Yeah.
from 7 PM to 7 AM.
we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I would second that.
Yeah.
Nicole, any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Done.
I have one or 5 or 10, 15 more questions about the project. So
Why?
when did it get bid?
November?
Bids.
Okay, so you've had your kickoff meeting?
We had that one in April.
Okay, so there was a valve ordering concern. Is that resolved? There were some parts that they were worried about getting in time.
No issue on parts. No.
That's all good. Submittals are in, schedule of values in.
Yep.
The Excel thing, I guess back to that, there's. Yeah, I really don't want that to come back as a delay because the site utilities are shown.
Yeah, and it's a little bit frustrating, but I don't want to also speak negatively of Excel because I think that they're the rep and the people that they have are working with us and trying to get it done as quickly as they can, but they've had plans for a long time.
Is it because you're cutting the road back or the excavation of the?
No, it's because of the location of the power, and the restrictions of the corridor that neither one can live right where they want to.
Are they rerunning a new line?
They're just relocated in two spots.
The two locations, 20, 30 feet, get dug up and moved over?
But it's in rock and they won't do that either. So,
Who's paying that tab?
we are.
Was that
unfortunately.
included in the bid?
It was not. And it's, they have easement by way of the cell carrier's lease agreement.
No, I don't doubt that it was there. It's just if it was on a, say, utility plan, how come we didn't catch it as a cost? So we're paying Excel for that then too, right? Or the contractor will pay Excel to move it?
The village will. Yep.
And what's that? Do we have an estimate from Excel?
We do not. So they're still working on their plan, their costs.
Anything else on this?
Well, yeah, make sure you call the Coast Guard in on this too, because apparently we're getting surprise after surprise.
Well, just think it was designed twice and bid twice.
Holy bucket.
I'm beating you up a little bit.
Is there anything else on it, Mike, that you want to beat him up on, or are we
Well,
ready
it's
to move on?
Wait until after
You're
the.
bringing-
meeting.
you're bringing up some-
So, no, but when, you know, we've let plans go in the past.
Yeah.
And we beat up our customers or constituents engineering that come in with incomplete plans.
Mhm.
And then we've sent out a couple now that are incomplete, and heck, we missed one too. Granted, stuff gets missed,
Mhm.
but we need to just remember that when we jam projects out in a hurry.
Well, you're bringing up some really good points.
I hate
can tell
change
you.
orders. I make a lot of money on them.
Yeah, oh, that's some awesome points.
All right,
And there's delays. Okay,
thank you, and I
you're welcome.
appreciate that point.
Yep.
So, all right, we'll go to item G. Review and award bids for the 2026 street maintenance project.
I'll take this too and lean to Todd a little bit as well. All right. So this, I would say is kind of a regular street maintenance type items that it's microsurfacing and striping of several roads within the village. And we put it out this year for public bid, just to make sure that we were following the procurement policy procedures. And we received two bids, as we might expect for this type of work, from one from Farner Asphalt and the other one from Struck and Irwin. The low bidder was Farner Asphalt, with a total including the base bid and the alternate of $248,336.15. There is monies included in the CIP for street maintenance items similar to this. Those totals, including a little carryover from last year, are totaling about 207,000. And so we had included base bid and the alternate, but these streets are segmented by the streets that are being done. You know, this section of Oak Drive, this section of 250th. And so what Todd has done in the past and like to do here is, you know, select a contractor and then work within that contract to remove certain street sections to be within budget. So we're requesting that the bid be awarded to Farner Asphalt and for staff to work with them within the budget of the CIP.
So the lines 1 through 15 are all ones that are happening, correct? On this bid
Yes.
tabulation?
Correct.
And then the alternates are the ones that you're gonna pick through.
What's the total budget? I was reading.
207.
$207,000.
We're 40 grand, 41,000 off.
Almost sounds like we might have 15,000 to play with if we're cutting our own grass.
Well,
You
we've
might
got,
want
we've
that-
got
you might
lighting
want that
issues too.
elsewhere.
No, are we wanting that elsewhere?
Are you looking, specifically, you're looking for us to approve a bid and then you're gonna work with the contractor to decide which roads you drop off? Is that
Yeah,
the idea
using,
here?
using
That's correct.
the,
Yeah, we're gonna
using the
review.
CIP dollars.
Yep, the alternates. It's not untraditional to potentially look at your alternates and overbid, and then you can kind of pick from there, pick and choose what to drop in order to meet your budget.
Out of the alternates, do they all, Pacer's the grading of the road, right?
Correct.
Are they all about the same?
Yeah, they have to be for this type of maintenance treatment.
Sure.
This is just, just seal coats and other stuff. It's not any repavement.
No repavement. This is hydration of the asphalt. You got some polymers, you got, a little bit of rock. Slightly different cost-effective technique outside of our traditional chip sealing, which we hope to move away from and get a better product.
You're not doing fogging, are you?
No fogging in this sense, only during chip sealing would we come into a fog. But right off the bat, I can tell you, we have our priorities in the way of alternates. Higher traffic areas, obviously, around the airport is wide and expensive. That include, the continued Simmon Drive, 68th, 250th. So we can probably look at that being an alternate that falls a little lower on the register.
Do any of these fall into other project opportunities that might get other dollars, SIP or whatever? Or not, TIF, TID, whatever?
At this point, the only ones that actually rely within the TID boundary would be Simmon Drive and 268th. Rest of them lie outside of the boundary of the TID district.
68.
268.
Simmon is in a TID?
260th, excuse me.
Oh,
And Simmon, yeah,
Is it in a TID?
within the boundary. You can do project, you can use TID dollars without, out to a half-mile boundary of the TID district.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Sorry, I was interpreting boundary literally.
65th and 63rd, are those high or low in your rating?
They're higher, mostly because of obviously the new addition to the hospital. If we continue to let them potentially degrade to a lower Pacer scale, then we're just going to be looking at a much greater investment in maintenance, which would include a mill and overlay. But obviously, very high traffic.
How come there's such a big difference with the paint from Varner and then Struck and Irwin?
I think it's mostly to deal with, I don't know if one potentially bid
Well,
epoxy painting.
Epoxy. So I did talk to him and Struck and Irwin was really promoting using epoxy for longer lasting. I was very clear and actually had a addendum that noted that it was not, it was latex, and talked to Struck and Irwin. I don't know why it's so much higher.
It's huge.
Speaking from a contractor standpoint, as long as it meets your spec and it's something you've picked, I can't imagine. I mean, I play games with these numbers all the time, thinking what somebody might buy and not buy. So as long as it meets the spec, I can care less what they put in for a unit price.
Right, potentially, did they think, oh, they underestimated the striping and there's gonna be a bunch more, and so then.
Well, you only have
make some
30
money.
linear feet too. Where are you gonna put 30 feet in? Isn't that, are we talking line item 23, 18-inch wide paint, linear
Oh.
foot 30?
no,
Oh, that's,
Oh,
I
12
think
through
he's doing
15.
12 through
yeah,
15.
12 through 15, it's just.
Yeah,
such
that's
a-
the main.
Because that's
one,
the
and then,
main, yeah, the other one's just an alternative.
That's just a couple of stop bars.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I
So
was
I'm
looking,
just wondering-
I ran to the, I was still watching alternate.
If it wasn't epoxy and if it was just paint, would
So you're
that,
saying the guy was really proponent of epoxy and that's why his number you think is high?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Epoxy's great, it's expensive. We still utilize the state spec within the village now, but it's not epoxy.
That's why I'm like, I don't know that
It's hard to
Care what
get
the
and
number
it's
is?
hard to paint over.
Sure.
It's like epoxy has to go on epoxy. And so we moved away from it just to make our $15,000 annually outside of the maintenance aspect or project of this nature to go farther.
I just didn't know if there was an alternative option, if that would then bring, because they're pretty close, the bids are close.
Mhm.
But I didn't know if that would skew it one way or the other.
Do we have anyone who feels like making a motion on this?
I'll move to make a motion to approve the bid provided by Farner, am I saying that right? Asphalt sealers for the 2026 street maintenance project.
Utilizing the CIP dollars.
Yes, utilizing.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on that motion? If none, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Done. 6H, Arbor Day proclamation.
Everybody loves trees, including the Department of Public Works.
Sure
The
do.
request here is to honor Arbor Day on May 28th in the village of Osceola. In celebration, we look forward to putting a snowball Japanese lilac in Second Avenue in replacement of a degrading and failing maple tree. Of course, we're smart about the species that we're picking. They're in line with the DNR, our urban forestry program, and on top of that, the surrounding buildings and utilities overhead, so that in the future, the head doesn't get chopped off by the electric company to protect their wires.
Looks great when they do that.
I'll make a
Headless trees.
motion as recommended.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
A second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It's done.
And then 1 p.m. on Thursday, the 28th, there is a photo op for any board members that want to take a picture shuffling for a tree.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Don't
you.
bring your axes.
No. 6I, conditional use permit for home occupation at 291 Gateway Parkway.
Maya Reed, who is the resident of 291 Gateway Parkway, has submitted an application for an in-home business. She plans to put an in-home cottage-style bakery stand outside of her home. This did go before Planning Commission last week, and it did pass by a vote of 5-0. The 5 conditions that Planning Commission recommend to put on are on the memo, and staff has recommended the village board approves the conditional use permit subject to the conditions 1 through 5 as recommended by the Planning Commission.
Any discussion or questions on this?
I'll make a motion that we approve this.
We have a motion by Mike. We have a second by Tony. Thank you. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? It's done. 6J, D&K Properties Development and TID agreements.
At the special meeting in April, it was allowed to give a waiver for connection to the water and sewer for D&K development. Within there, board directed staff to create a TID and development agreement regarding this development. With there is the request of $120,000 increment. Before you tonight is the pro forma from Baird regarding the payments for it. This does cash flow. We and the village will collect multiple layers of increment for this to allow us to do projects within TID number 4, which is from this parcel down to the airport and then further east until it turns into Simmon Drive. So that is the current layout of TID number 4. If you're wondering what TID 4 boundary is, it's the south part of town, basically.
And just to clarify too, that does not include the now annexed parcels.
No, it does not include that because they were not part of the village at the time of the creation of the district. So
Excellent.
our TID districts can only be within village limits. So
Thank you.
and then they're all residential anyway, so it's a can of worms.
Yep.
But no, it does not include any of that. However, the utility line that would be on the future would be involved with that because that's a project within the TID boundary, like we just talked about. With that, there are a few triggers that we talked about for what would constitute the hookup for the utilities of this. This was drafted between D&K Properties, Aaron Sundin, and our attorney Paul Mahler for these 2 developments. Staff is looking for a recommendation of approval tonight for both of these developments, agreements, and TID agreements.
What was the specific triggers? No additional land development, subdivision activity, or building permits for lot 1 may occur. Extended, okay. I'll make a motion that we approve the development agreement and tax increment development agreement with D&K Real Estate LLC as presented.
We have a motion.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It's done. 6K, RFQ for municipal building cleaning services.
Staff opened up an RFP for cleaning. We received two proposals, one from ABM, the other one from Jessica Garcia, what's she going by now? Pro Green Cleaning, is that what she's going by now? The low bid and the company that is providing their own cleaning supplies was ABM. So staff is recommending going with ABM for the cleaning contract of the building.
Does ABM have a office staff around?
They're centered out of Minneapolis. They did say that they'll be hosting a local job fair to find local workers for this site.
They had the contract before we went to Pro Green.
So they've been here before?
Yep.
They were the previous cleaner.
Awesome.
And Pro Green was not willing to supply cleaning supplies, so their contract would actually be higher as we'd be providing cleaning supplies.
I'm going to go ahead and make a motion that we approve the selection of ABM as the village's janitorial service provider effective July 1st of 2026.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
You can have it.
All right, we'll give it to Van.
Thanks a lot, Mike.
Trying to spread the wealth around here. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, it's done. 6L, Officer McCade submitted his 2 weeks notice on April 29th. How to proceed?
Yes, so we have had multiple conversations about how we handle staffing going forward in 26 and 27. This is the first staffing decision that is actually affecting the general levy going forward at 26 and 27. With that, we provided what the savings for 26 will be by not rehiring the position, which was roughly $48,000. And then in 27, not rehiring this position is also a cost savings of about $94,000. There are some operational considerations to take into account too, so that's not purely dollar. With that, we would lose significant coverage if this position is not refilled. And AJ can also, or Chief Bach can also further talk about what that impact might be on his department.
Yeah, essentially, we'd be looking at, roughly a quarter of our coverage having to flex or fill in, pay overtime, whatnot. So this would be a significant deterioration of our police coverage in the village if we were to not fill this spot.
I have a
Go
few
ahead.
questions. So and I wasn't here for this part, but was McCade offered us to cover his training?
So our agreement that we have for our officers in training is mostly just to cover in case they did not meet the academy requirements or failed out of the academy.
Okay.
In which case that cost would fall on the village. And if that were to be the case, we'd say, hey, you're the one that couldn't pass, so you're covering the bill for the academy. Once they're off, once they're a full-time police officer, then the union contract kicks in. They're given uniform allowance. I did talk with St. Croix Falls, and they will be reimbursing us for the ballistic vest that we paid for McCade. So
Okay.
it's a good thing. But no, otherwise, as far as training goes, we won't be recouping any of that funding.
I wasn't sure what the discussion was about that beforehand. And then what would be the impact also, just so the community kind of knows, if we left the position vacant, how would that affect overtime costs for you as well?
Well, I guess we'd have to ask if we want to maintain 24-hour coverage. If that would be the case during the summer, it's a little bit easier because we have Officer Tremblay back from out of the schools. However, as I mentioned last year, when we were talking about coverage, we have just enough officers right now to maintain 24 hours. That doesn't count sick time. That doesn't count vacation days, in which case I could offer a full overtime shift to the rest of the officers. If they take it, that's be at least 10 hours of overtime that we'd have to pay out per shift. So
in a conversation you and I had at coffee one morning, you educated me that we have a very, very tiny overtime budget compared to other areas around here.
that's correct.
Okay, so without leading questions, I don't know that I think we need 24-hour coverage, and unfortunately, maybe this is an opportunity to try it. I like the idea that there's probably times that you need overtime and that you're pretty strapped with that dollar value.
Pretty much my budget allows for overtime pay during big events like Wheels and Wings, and I try to prioritize weekends and holidays if we have a vacancy.
And in 26 too, we set some of your overtime into part-time because we thought we had a part-time guy lined up.
I think we talked about that. I don't know if we actually.
I'd have to look through that again, but that was talked about too at one point because we did potentially have a part-time guy lined up.
I think it would be cool to see us try it, not 24-hour coverage, and maybe pick maybe it's not a set time. I'm gonna lean some of it back to you, but I'd rather see you bolster our overtime budget and fill in times when it's heavy, and be able to give the guys some time off and maybe some other things that makes it easier for them to work. So like I noticed one of his comments was benefits and stuff. Maybe we look at this different, for ease some planning on yours and just agree that or acknowledge that we might not have 24 and we have to lean on the county. It's not anarchy when there isn't somebody on duty.
It isn't, and it is. It's a roll of the dice,
I think there's no good solution here.
We've left gaps open before and come out all right, but all it takes is that critical incident, to happen at some oddball time of day. And
You're right. And you could argue that that could happen both ways too. We could have one guy in town dealing with something and have an emergency, a second one, and we'd still be not covered.
Sure.
I don't think that there's a great solution here. I would like to try not 24 and leave, don't necessarily take the money from you, but try, maybe double staffing for a while with the extra money or something.
Well, and again, I would have to try to get those shifts filled, with the younger generation.
I get it.
They prioritize time off. Overtime isn't as.
Yeah, I know there's babies being born left and right. And vacations.
I am in agreement with Mike that I think we're in a difficult situation from a staffing perspective for the village generally. I don't know that I necessarily see it as a freeze through 2027. I would see it as a freeze through
summer,
our current, I would argue like our current budget process, because we're going to be doing another budget soonish. I mean, in November, we will be approving a budget for next year. And I think what it does is it, one, allows us to acclimate ourselves and get an understanding from the department about what staffing at this level looks and feels like, so that we can gain an awareness of that. But it also then means that as we go into a budget discussion, we have some flexibility there that we've reserved. Like attrition is a natural moment to think about overall staffing. And so I don't feel the need to have it go through 2027. I think if we held the position vacant through our current budget cycle, that would, I think, speaks to some of what you're talking about, Mike, and also give us an opportunity to think more holistically about how we want to try and approach our budget. With the additional fact that you are going to get McCade back from the school, or I'm sorry,
No.
Tremblay back from the school for 3 of those months. So my anticipation would be that during peak summer, you would essentially be operating with the same number of folks that you were operating with before this most recent change, right?
It'd be close, but not quite as, I mean, the big draw with having a school resource officer, having Matt work summers was he was going to work kind of a split shift to bolster the officers that were currently working. So the officers would have backup end of the afternoon into the evening portion. So with this, it's just going to be maintaining as much coverage as possible. So
I want to reiterate, or I want to rephrase what I said. I don't want to make the decision without you providing some more info. I just don't want to make a decision right now to hire somebody. And I'd like to see this go a little bit and then.
Well, to be quite frank, it's probably the worst timing possible for McCade to leave. The new academy starts up on June 1st. It probably takes us a month or two to find a viable candidate. And, if we need to put them through academy.
It was like 3 to 6 months last time.
Yeah, if we're looking to put someone through academy, the earliest I think I can anticipate that would be the fall academy. So even if I was authorized to proceed with hiring someone, realistically, unless we got that unicorn that's leaving another department and is ready to turnkey join and go through FTO, it's going to be a process. I don't anticipate that we'll fill this position quickly. So
having sat through that class out there, I know that there was other officers that weren't necessarily tied to any agency that hop ship mid-class. Not to say that they were the best officers and we should have hired them. I heard it happening.
Yeah, and that's always a possibility too. If you get someone that self-sponsors, goes through academy,
I don't even know if they were self-sponsored. I know there was one person that changed departments mid-class and I think had some probably funding agreements. So yeah,
Well, I just,
Go ahead.
thank you.
No, it's okay.
All right. Couple of things. This is probably one of the conversations I knew was going to happen. The second he left was, oh, this is a golden opportunity to balance our budget. So what we're going to do is we're going to forget what happened when we had 2 open spots, because there could be another one. The time it took to fill those slots, we were not 24/7. And believe me, stuff was happening. And we had worked so hard trying to build the department back up again. And now we're thinking, this is an easy thing to do. Yeah, it's going to take them a while. Hopefully, the next candidate, as far as these benefits are concerned, what we've heard, the information, I think we're right up there with all the rest of the departments, with the other communities, as far as what we do for these officers, the new ones. They got it really good. Okay. There's more to it. It's not just the benefits. There's something else. I don't think it's personnel. I don't think leadership or anything like that. It just depends on what they're looking for personally. Okay. If we don't have that, we can't help it. You move on. Don't know for sure, but it could be. So now we're talking about saying this is an easy way to say, wow, let's not fill that. Let's just see how it goes. We got Tremley who's going to fill in. Now there was some other stuff going on with Tremley. We needed to use him for some other things. It's not going to be that easy where we just have this floater, working. He's got an idea of what he needs every person on that department to do to make it better, more secure, more training, more inside training opportunities, all this stuff. And they send them to school and that time off. We're going to have a problem here. This overtime thing kind of bothers me for one thing, because we were doing Kelly time that was costing us like unbelievable. Okay. Unbelievable. This overtime thing, it sounds great, but number one, not everybody wants to work overtime. And 2, you pay a price for that. Okay. I'm worried about rest. Okay. a crisis situation takes a lot out of a person. You need some rehab time, you need time to regenerate. Another officer kind of helps cover that and whatever else. That is a reality of it. And so I'm sorry, but I know it's money. I know we have a tight budget. We are continuing the lane of working, trying to get those extra funds somehow. I do not think this is the right avenue to go. This is my opinion from experience. I would be livid if I were the chief of police right now. Absolutely livid for even having this conversation with him. He knows what to do. He can make it happen, but there's a price. And as a citizen of this village, I'm not willing to take that chance of knowing that, oh, really? It's not covered? I picked up the phone before and I needed law enforcement. Nobody's on duty. Are you kidding me? I don't want to deal with that again. If they're busy and they're on a mental health call and they're OWI and whatever else, and I pick up the phone and says, they're on duty and they're tied up right now. It's not an emergency, but I'll leave them a message. I can deal with it that way. Not on duty, and you get the message on 2 days. Finally, somebody responds. By then, my crisis is over. And word travels.
It certainly does.
It does. And I just, I don't want that little thing to get out to the, I want that coverage. So,
You know, I see the new developments, the new projects within the village, how many new houses, how many new residents that we're looking at getting. And I believe Osceola is a caliber of a community that needs and deserves 24-hour police coverage.
we don't need to be going the opposite direction of what direction we want to be going. We want to stay ahead of the game. The influx of people and problems is heading our way. It's already building up. And when we start getting behind, it's going to be this, this, and this. That's all I've got to say. I'm not, I'm sorry, but I just have my stance on that.
I also want to just, for this, I want to just take time to have a reminder about the resolution that didn't pass a couple of years back and, or referendum, sorry, that didn't pass. And some of the considerations that maybe Mike and Neil are coming to can be because of the people that didn't come out to vote for that. That could have gave us funding.
And I want to piggyback on that point just to say that I obviously, we all want the community to be properly policed. Nobody doesn't want that. I think we're, from a budget perspective, trending in a bad direction.
Mm-hmm.
And we can't have it both ways. Like, we just can't have it both ways. And so, you know, I think that we have to be very clear-eyed about when we're running out of room to do the stuff that we've been accustomed to trying to do. And I think that we're increasingly getting to that point where those kinds of decisions are going to have to be made. So that is the place from which my comments come, that we are running out of room for this, you know, to provide those kinds of services that we want to provide. And so, to me, is it ideal that we're having this conversation? No. Is it an ideal situation that this is what, in my mind, we'd be contemplating through the end of this year? No. But I also don't know that I see a solution beyond just continuing in the direction that looks like a dead end financially to me. And it's bigger than the police department. It's unfortunate. The police, you know, Chief Bach, you're the first one that this happened to. And so here you are. But that's my view.
I'd also like to, at some, or like if this goes through or we're hiring another person, I would like to look at, refund or funding academy if that happens. Did we look into having a contract with the person that we're funding with to stay with the village for a certain period of time so that we can kind of keep them and recruit?
The issue
From
with that
that-
is it's largely unenforceable, you know? I think when we started drafting up the officer and training contracts.
We worked with our attorney on this one, and then, yeah, that was not something we were able to do.
Okay.
I mean, we can.
Because I know
we
there's
explore that
others
ave-
that,
We explore that avenue. That was something that we were talking about, that we did fear that we give a person opportunity in 6 months, they bolt to a bigger department that pays more.
You know, ultimately, I want to naturally hire folks that want to work here. You know, just like Rick was saying when he was talking about his hiring process that he's currently going through. You know, I look for candidates that have ties to the community, that look like they're going to be a mainstay. They're going to make a career out of, you know, working for Osceola PD, because it's a process to essentially turn a person into a police officer. You know, you got to find that right mix. You know, I always say that we can hire good people and we can train them to be police officers, but you know, 2 out of 3, I consider that a victory still too. You know, we still have 2 officers that we hired, and I don't anticipate that they're going to be leaving anywhere, but you know, it's just part of the nature of the beast, right? I mean, you get a new officer and they have certain expectations, and you know, being Osceola, we're already a very safe community, and you know, people leave. So that's just par for the course, and you know, we get through it and move on. So
Adjusted our pay at one point to try to pilfer somebody else, so I can't really blame St. Croix or him for doing it, because we were gonna try it ourselves.
yeah.
we still went there.
And then to kind of touch on Van's point of response times, what were they looking like when we were down officers for response times, and not just Osceola response times, like the county coming in to help, or does St. Croix Falls ever come down to help?
Well, we had a temporary,
you know, for that kind of stuff.
we had a temporary agreement with St. Croix Falls while we were talking about the combination talks, and you know, that wasn't bad. They'd be responding from the city of St. Croix. But you know, when that lapsed, then it fell onto the county to respond. And, you know, unfortunately, you know, you could see a response coming from Balsam Lake, half hour, you know.
Yeah, it was between 20 and 30 minutes from a call from the county.
You know, a lot of times they'll come down, they'll make sure everyone's safe and fight the good fight. But then guess what, Osceola? Oh, first officer checks on. We've got this call, this call, and this call for you to follow up on. If it's something that they don't want to deal with that falls within the village, you know, hey, let's call the chief at 2:30 in the morning and wake him up and have him come out here and handle this. You know, it's an additional drain on our staff when we're short-staffed for any real length of time.
And where I'm kind of going with this as well is I've noticed from your reports the last couple of months, at least in the last year or since January, you've had a lot of domestic abuse charges or domestic calls, and those can change or go very violent very quickly.
That's one of the 2 most dangerous calls that we respond to.
Yeah, so a 30-minute call or a 30-minute time frame for a domestic is really dangerous.
But it could be deadly.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So that kind of heightens awareness on that, because I've noticed in your reports you've been dealing with a lot of calls with that.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's a common call type.
Yeah, so that's that should be very scary for the community to not have a low response call or time for those kinds of cases.
With the bridge closing, I think there's gonna be some tough times ahead, and these are those uncomfortable discussions we kind of all knew that would happen. But I just don't think it's the right time to try that and see how it goes. I think when people are struggling, bad things happen, domestics happen, theft happens, things are gonna go up. It's not a good time to freeze anything with law enforcement. I mean, I know I'm the new guy on the board, but I feel really good when I see a squad drive by on patrol. And I'm sure everybody else does too. And we're a small town. We don't have, I mean, we have a little bit of vandalizing, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. It's nothing, but we're a border town, you know, that's about to lose our bridge. It's about to lose our connection to the next state. And I think that's going to leave a lot of people in a specific position to where things will happen. And I don't think that we want to be shorthanded when it does. I think that we need to think a little bit more down the road. And I don't want to kick the can down the road and say, well, we'll find the money somewhere else. We can save it somewhere else. But I could think out of all the things, I think that law enforcement, having rested officers who are sharp and on their game is probably a key fact in keeping things going smooth over the next couple of years.
And that mental health thing as well. A lot of burnout happens with police agencies, and if we can give them the time that they need to recover, would be ideal.
What was the candidate class, like academy window? When does it start?
The next academy starts June 1st, so I will not be able to make that. So fall academy, off the top of my head, I think depending on which school, we got Chippewa Valley Tech and then Northwood Tech. I anticipate around October or so, be my guess.
Is when they would start that.
When the fall academy would start.
So
Again,
they're running
I
2 a year? They're running 2 academies a year?
correct. Yeah. Sometimes they run concurrent academies where they have like a part-time academy. I don't know if they're doing that again this year. That was kind of an experiment that they did to get people to self-sponsor. But I know the regular academies, they typically do 2 a year.
Yeah. I'm not for option 1 or 2. I'm for just not doing anything this month and just taking a little break, knowing that there's 2 academy options. It's like I said, you're not going to make the next one anyway. So
Yeah. Like I said, unless I have someone that's already certified and looking to switch departments, I'm going to be waiting for.
I think you're waiting no matter what.
Yes.
It's just how long are we willing to wait?
Yep.
And those are unmeasurable items. So it's.
Brad, I don't know if you want to take the baton for leading the meeting.
No, I came in the middle of this topic, so I'll let you finish.
Okay. Is that a motion, Mike?
No,
You just want to do,
it'd be no action type thing.
okay.
We're just.
How do you interpret no action?
Going off of last meeting, and my interpretation is that I was funded to have a full staff this year, and I was looking to fill that position.
And that's why I brought it up, that it should continue on as if the money is still there, which it is.
And it sounds like he's not filling it until it's going to take him time to fill it. I don't see a reason why we can't give him option 1. So,
Is that a motion?
yeah, I'm going to make the motion for option 1 to fill the vacancy.
I'll second it.
Your motion by Nicole. Sounds like Van, you've been given the honor. Is there any discussion on that motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. No.
Nay. Yeah, 3-3.
We're going to do a roll call to see where that came out. So Nicole,
Aye.
Tony.
Aye.
Brad,
Nay.
Van,
Aye.
Mike,
Hey,
and I'm a no. Is that a tie? And a tie fails.
Yes, yep.
It died.
You need simple majority for approval.
So we're deadlocked.
Well, it kind of dies, doesn't it? Yeah, the motion
we
dies.
can keep talking
Oh,
and make another motion.
There can be
We
another
could keep
motion.
talking,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm gonna move to table this till next month.
I'll
right.
second that.
Motion by Brad, second by Mike. Any discussion on tabling until next month? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed say no.
No.
Okay, I'm going to hear 4 ayes.
No.
Oh, there was a.
Okay, well, let's do a roll call for the record then. Nicole, On the motion to table, Nicole,
No.
Tony, Brad.
Aye.
Van, Mike,
Aye.
and I'm an aye. So we are nowhere.
Still on the topic.
We're still
Yeah.
on the topic. Nowhere as far as
Could
the
we,
conclusion.
could we move to fill the vacancy and then have an opportunity to kind of review candidates?
Well, that's what it's, I mean, that's what it sounds like he has to do anyway.
That's it.
So it's not, in my thought, is he's not gonna make it to the deadline of the, what, June?
No, I don't, no,
No.
not for the academy.
With how hiring happened last time, do you foresee anyone with the skill and the qualifications to start right away?
You never
I can't answer that.
You never know, because you don't know if there's a disgruntled police officer in Hudson or something that wants a small town that we ready to go right away, or if it's.
Can I propose, let me open up the hiring process and perhaps I can bring the board a candidate for your proposal?
I'm all for just a give it a month, and I know it failed. I'm not saying no. I mean, I like the idea of it. I wish we'd find some middle ground and fix some of your other things, because
Yep.
you're the expert though.
I think ultimately, at the end of the day, we strive to maintain 24-hour coverage as best we can. It's not always a given, but we do our best. And I do agree that there are some other areas of the police department budgetarily that I would like to address. I also understand that we are looking at a tight budget next year. So
Well, and
Or
maybe
just-
maybe we revisit part-time?
it's a possibility. However, the part-time climate right now is,
And it was open for a year last year. We
What are you
had one
doing?
applicant.
I'm busy.
AJ, the part-time position was open for a year, but
Really
really
busy.
right?
no, we didn't open up a part-time position. We had an applicant that reached out to inquire about working part-time.
So
I would ask
Would it-
for additional motions, if any.
I would make a motion that we move towards filling the vacancy, but bring it back to the board before we make the final hiring decision.
We have a motion on the floor.
I will second that.
So the motion is to move towards filling the vacancy, which I won't provide my interpretation. Move towards filling the vacancy and bring it back to the board for a hiring decision,
Before the final hiring decision. yes.
before a final hiring decision. Is there any discussion on that? I'm gonna do a roll call since we're feeling disputatious this evening on this.
Oh, that's a
Thank
good,
you.
yeah, that's a good
I'll do what I
word.
can.
If I change, I'd give you 50
Ooh.
cents.
We'll start with Nicole,
Aye.
Tony.
Aye.
Brad.
Nope.
Van,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
and I'm gonna vote no. Now it passes
Mhm.
4-2. All right, there you go.
Made some progress.
Baby steps.
Need to talk more about.
Thank you, chief.
Thank you.
All right, Brad, we're on 6M. Would you like to take over or you want me to carry on?
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, thank you, Neil. Clerk will note that the village president took over at 6M. Thank you. 6M Memorandum of Understanding, Grow Osceola.
Just a relatively memo of understanding outlaying the communication strategies and the duties both the village and the Grow Osceola will do for the downtown area and the flower beds within the community.
Have we had a MOU in the past?
No, we're formalizing the we're requesting the MOU so everyone understands the proper protocols of how we conduct business and the proper channels to go through.
Because for the same reason, my conversation was not well received because of dates. I see we're back at 2026 again with no end date. It's listed here in one of the items about something through B2, add mulch and beds in 2026. We've been operating without an MOU. We currently have a budget that's somehow undefined with a scope that's had creep for years, apparently. This is another one where I think, if we had a contentious discussion on something very, very important, funding a police officer, I think this can I don't see the urgency this can get resolved and maybe part of a 2027 budget discussion. And then we can maybe let Todd have some input about what he thinks is reasonable on his scope and staffing and.
And I guess I was a little confused because this read to me like the MOU that we had in the Public Works Committee. Like, I think
I
it
feel
was.
like this was shorter. I didn't go.
I
back
don't
and
know. I
compare.
didn't read, I
I
didn't
think it's
compare.
shorter.
Did they remove, because I also see they're asking for boulders, which I remember they were
Yeah,
asking
which I remember
for.
we talked about and we were confused on that.
One of my big things is that their scope was growing. I don't know that it was sustainable. I've seen other entities that have signed us up for work and then we've lost, it gets handed to us without any input. I'm going to use the argument everybody used against me. We're fine for 26. Let's not do nothing.
I kind of feel similarly. That it felt to me like we'd resolve for this year and that any future discussions we would handle in the future.
Yeah, I'd like to see Todd's input more on what's he left. Other I'd be asking him questions. He made a comment earlier about feeling lucky that he was able to hire 2 part-timers. Maybe that's not the same every year. I forgot to ask because a lot of times he was excited he wasn't going to spend 15 on mowing. But usually when you have a government employee doing something, that's like the least efficient way of doing it. And it costs the most because you have a bunch of benefits and stuff. And I should have asked him how that compared to what he felt for his own resources.
Summer workers aren't paid benefits and all that kind of stuff, so that does save us money.
So the equivalent, he thinks that on behalf of him, you think the equivalent work out of these 2 part-timers was cheaper than the 15 grand,
Yes.
including equipment maintenance and
Yes,
hours?
he did.
and-
Yep.
Okay. I'd like to see in his budget review, and that was the same conversation I had with AJ, is maybe it's not a dollar discussion, it's a scope discussion. So let's reel back the services that have been grown and implied.
Yeah, and that has come up in the past.
Yeah.
And it
And
needs to be discussed again.
This has another one, so I'm gonna hope this dies for lack of discussion. And we kick it forward for more discussion
Yeah.
with Todd.
Without any formal motion, it will just be an item on the agenda only. Anyone proposing a motion?
I'm not interested in the motion.
Moving on. 6N.
Well, Dan's not interested.
In
but-
front of you are the board. In front of you are the board appointments. There was one recommended change. Brad was recommending that Arvid go on the admin finance committee instead of him, correct?
Yeah, a couple board members had expressed interest in being involved in admin finance, and Arvid possesses the ability to attend when it's done. I mean, it's kind of done during a workday. It's at the end of a workday, but it's still done during a workday at 4:30 or 4:15 or what is it, 4:30?
4:30.
Yeah. And I know that we've had trouble getting someone to appear for Wheels and Wings. So I thought I might jump over there and fill that vacancy and let Arvid take admin finance.
Also, one thing too, I know Tony in a meeting with me expressed possible interest in the airport commission. I don't know if that's still something you're interested in.
Yeah, I didn't know if
I
Dave,
do
if
airport
that's normal.
commission too, if I'd arm wrestle you over it.
Because I think we have a board member who is up on the airport commission, but the airport commission has to allow a board member onto it, right? But
Yeah, at least one, yeah.
Pat is renewing his appointment, but they expressed having a board member on their commission.
and their meeting is next Monday.
Is there any reason why there can't be 2?
Yeah, so I think that they would be interested in adding a board member to their commission with who they already have on there.
So 2 total?
No, one
Just one.
board,
Sounds like one.
but.
Oh.
So Pat is on for appointment to the airport commission. They're reappointing him. However, they expressed interest in having a board member on their commission.
And my question is,
So if they
can we
want-
have 2 trustees on the airport commission?
That you'd have to ask them.
If it's possible, it sounds like we have 2 volunteers.
So that would.
And
you'd
if
have to
not-
ask them that.
If it's only one,
Yeah, they don't meet that often, so it's not
It
like,
meets
Every month.
every
It's not
Monday,
like it's a huge
third Monday,
commitment.
third Monday at 4:00.
If it's only one, I would defer to Mike because he probably knows a lot more. I just think it's nice to have somebody on there.
Well, yeah, I.
Just
I-
because
I'd
they're
say
the
go-
new guy doesn't
Are
mean
you
you
going
can't
Wheels
have
and
it.
Wings?
But they did
Just
express
because they're the new
interest.
guy.
Do we have anybody on the, begs the question, if we have a Wheels and Wings rep, do we not have a fair rep?
I don't know that that is an official
Yeah.
commission of the village.
Why would Wheels and Wings be?
Notified. Well, and actually they've approached, I think they've
No, I know.
approached the board and asked,
they
yeah.
want one.
The community fairs never asked that I know of. And I was on it.
Yeah. Well, maybe by default, we didn't need to make it formal, you were already there.
Maybe.
The fair is a fairly big impact, and I think they got blindsided by some stuff like last year. I'd like to see us try to at least reach out and ask if we can be part of that.
I know
Somebody
Nicole's
can-
very heavily involved with that.
Somebody can reach
Right.
out and ask, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, having a
Um,
village board member, I think is not that a committee member isn't a good idea, but it lends just for more discussion on stuff. I don't know that I'm making a motion that we go that, but I think we should try to find somebody who's interested in doing it. Ask the question maybe, or maybe our village president ask the question if they're
Anybody
interested.
have any opposition to the changes that have already been proposed outside of the community fair discussion? With Arvid going to admin finance, anybody have an undying need to be on admin finance other than Arvid? Because I'm sure that you could ask him if you wanted to. He's the only one that approached me on it, so. No, okay. I mean, that's what I had suggested was, and I asked Carrie and it sounded like we didn't, apparently I have to serve on plan as village president. I don't have a choice, so that'll stay. But as far as admin finance goes, Arvid was interested in that, so I was gonna let him do that. And then I would join with Kyle and sit in on Wheels and Wings for him, so.
We're missing one for the chamber too, Chamber Main Street. I see.
Did that change though?
Yeah,
to-
that's different
that's
now.
different.
It's a new
So-
organization.
Explore?
Yeah, I was, you guys appointed me because of the time originally, and then when they changed off, there was, they requested new board members, and I withdrew my consideration for that, just given the fact that I felt that the city was having too heavily an impact on a private organization.
I think the connection from the board through to now Explore would be me
Right.
through the bid,
Right,
which feels appropriate for
that's what I was gonna say.
the public interest in the bid and the taxing authority that it represents, but Explore is an independent nonprofit out in the community that works with the bid, so the connection comes that way. But Devin, when he was on the chamber board, was ex officio, so I don't think you were
Oh, I
voting.
was a vote.
Were you a voting member?
They made me a voting member. That's right. I thought it was too much
Okay.
crossover.
Are we paying the chamber Main Street anymore?
We give them their $7,000 for a year.
Bid gets money through the tax.
Bid is only paid for the district that was created. It's their tax dollars that are funding the bid district.
Taxation without representation.
No, it's,
No, I'm saying the Chamber Main Street.
oh,
So we're giving them $7,000 for somebody, but we don't have anybody there.
it's basically paying them money to do wow.
I would call it
Sounds
the,
like bid.
No,
it's not bid
No,
though.
I get
It's-
it.
I'm running out of words. Advertising. They're simple
Marketing.
Marketing, advertising. It's a relatively low
Yeah, the only
expense.
funding that's there is for their annual booklet that they put out and then
Yeah,
a little
so
bit of
we're
marketing.
giving
they do.
them, we're giving them a low amount of money to do a great amount of work that would cost us much more than $7,000.
How much money does bid have on hand?
What is that? That's nothing.
I'm wondering, I'm asking more questions because we're spending money and it's not getting, I don't know what it's getting done and there's nobody here to tell me what it's getting done.
Well, the bid spends their own money. We have no money of our own into the bid.
I think everybody heard what I was intending to say, so I'm good. We can move on. So what, are we making motions
Browse,
for
but-
appointments?
Do we have to approve this?
Yes.
Okay, so then the motion would be to adopt these appointments with the approved change for admin finance and Wheels and Wings.
What did we do with the airport?
Do we need an added of the airport that we were gonna contact or no?
And airport commission, sorry. So we had 3 changes.
Well,
We don't have it yet,
We should wait on it.
so.
Okay.
Would-
Until we get it finalized on airport, we should.
Oh, leave that one off then. So,
Okay,
I'll make the airport make a motion on Monday that they want a board member on their board.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
that would be better.
I'll make a motion for the two changes that we just discussed, admin and finance and
Wheels and Wings.
Wheels and Wings.
I'll second.
Motion by Mike and a second by Neil. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed say no. Carried. 6O, approved, nope, citizen appointments, yes. So commission committee citizen appointments.
I believe those are all reappointments except for room tax where Tyler Norberg is.
Additional, yeah, a new one. Yep.
Somebody stepped down.
Who was it that left? Room tax?
Andrew Carlson left, and then the owner of the hotel has been on that commission the whole time I've been here, and he's come to maybe 2 meetings. He never comes,
Got it,
so I replaced him.
Okay.
got it.
You never come, ever.
And Jessica Robinson is Styliscape, is that right? I believe so.
I
No?
don't know if it's beauty.
Salon and Co.
Yeah.
Thank you, thank you. And then Josiah Williams.
He's with the church. He's a pastor over at,
Yeah, but he owns
oh, the, yeah, the
the old-
Combacker House or.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and then Roxy's on there too.
I saw that, so.
I would make a motion for the citizen appointments as listed.
Second.
Second.
Wow.
I've been cooped
He
up
was
all
so
meeting.
excited.
I had to run things.
You can have it.
Motion by Mike and a second by Neil. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Motion carries. 6P, conditional obstruction permit applications for Riverstone Bookshop and the Looking Glass.
The Looking Glass application is the same application in past years. The Riverstone Bookstore is new, so that's a new application, and you can see their colorful picture of what their board looks like in the packet, and it meets all historic preservation downtowns requirements. They did, HPC recommended approval of both conditional obstruction the obstruction permits.
All right, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I'll second it. Motion by Neil and a second by myself to approve these conditional obstruction permit applications as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Carried. 6Q, wow, Q.
Yeah, we had a lot.
27 budget.
Uh-huh.
So in the April meeting, we requested action from the finance committee about the process of where they want to see the budget for 2027 in the early infancies of its draft. Village Code 9-2 says that admin finance committee is the one that gives direction for the village budget. With that, they recommended that the preparation of the 27 budget with a 0% increase of the operating budget levy, and then utilizing the short-term borrow necessary to balance the budget while maintaining current staffing and service levels. This approach will result in no increase to levied operating funds for 2027, potential for a slight reduction in the overall tax rate depending on increased shared revenue allocations, net new construction growth, potential budget restraints payments, continued expenditure reductions identified by staff. So what I'm saying there is we don't know what our increased shared revenue allocation is going to be. In the past, it's been anywhere from 3 to 10% from the shared revenue. There was no big legislation passed this year, so we're probably looking in the 3% range again for shared revenue from the state. Net new construction growth, we will not have those numbers until August. So I don't know what our net new construction growth is going to be until August. So that's a big question mark about what that actually is going to be for our budget. And then a nice thing is because of the way we've been budgeting the last few years and that we have very little growth in our budget, the state opened up the budget restraints payments again. So if you've been keeping your budget under a certain percentage for so many years, you get an additional money from the state for that. And because we have been keeping our budget relatively tight year in over year, we should qualify for budget restraint again. Once again, I will not know that number or if we qualify for a few months. So that one is kind of out in the air again, another revenue source that I'm not 100% sure of forecasting until we know what it is. And then as we've mentioned in the past, the continued expenditure reductions identified by staff, which every day staff is looking at ways to save money in their day-to-day operations.
Was there anything in the recent legislation that was passed that affected municipalities, or was it literally just school districts?
School districts, all I saw on that one.
And then,
Psychologists, that's
and
it.
then checks to
Rebates.
Rebates to
Rebates to
taxpayers.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, yeah, there was nothing about that. I just attended the league conference last week, and there's no legislations regarding funding for either shared revenue or changing of the levy limits either.
Well,
So
they're
there's no pushing any of that change yet.
the biggest part of the tax bill, so hopefully that'll help the taxpayers next year.
From the process perspective, Devin, this felt like, I guess I question if we've been following our process, because these budget workshops that we do seem like the kind of work that the committee would, under the budget process that you've identified, be responsible for. So I'm a little confused, I guess, about why we're kind of taking the approach of putting this into the committee when in past years it's not been, from my view.
What we do in the beginning is, I'm saying in this early of the season, you get structure from your committee. And then when we go into the fall, we have all those answers, then we go to the full board once we have designed that from those protocols. So yes, we still need board impact and input from those processes once we have everything lined up. The direction that we're receiving is basically to get us started to where we're going for. As we're right now still early in the budgeting season, the fact that we don't have our audited financial statements yet, we don't have our revenues figured out yet. And without all that, we can start putting numbers together based on a loose framework and kind of go from there. And once we have all the pictures, and then from that direction, we can go to the board looking for the final input of it. There is a multiple layers to it, and that's how I feel it should be done. In every community, that's how I've done it too, is you start at a committee level, talk about a committee, and then bring it to the full board when it gets to the point of close to approvals and finalizing the final items that we have in the past.
My only complaint about that approach is that I think from the conversation we just had about police staffing, we're probably in for much more heavy duty conversations than we have had in years past. And my frustration with our process is that by the time we're having those heavy duty conversations in October and November, we are left without any time to consider a bigger discussion, because oftentimes by the time we're in that part of the year, we're now entering a time crunch to make sure the budget gets done. And so the intent, I'm interpreting this as a response to the conversation we had in March about the budget. And the intent with that conversation was so that we do not, as a full board, get stuck at the end of the year with a small number of decisions available to us. That was the intent. And I'm on admin finance now, so I guess I can take my complaints and bring them there.
It's a timing thing where you just want to see it sooner.
Well, my point is that I think we've not ever, I mean, maybe it's a timing thing, and maybe that would allow for a better amount of discussion from the board about what I think are going to be harder decisions than we've made in the past. And so my intent in March was to force that discussion earlier.
Okay, so admin and finance, for past years, we have done this. Waited till the very last. We've moved this up to start the ball rolling as soon as possible in that year, start planning. So the next meetings come up at the first of the year, you're gonna see what we're saying. We've got the numbers to work with, and we're gonna give some direction to Devin as to what we want to pursue. Now, he does not have all the answers. We potentially do have some extra funding coming in down the line. But the thing about it is he has to have some sort of direction to go. Otherwise, he'll sit there and wait for us to tell him. You move on this. Look into this and look in, and I don't know. It's really hard, I guess, to. It's a process that.
It is. I'm just
It's
complaining
not-
about the delinquencies in
yeah,
our process.
but-
that I just don't think it's been sufficient.
But I think, okay, so now when we get rolling, it being you're on the committee, you know, you're thinking about all these numbers, you see what's going on, you see what's we're gonna face, so we're gonna start talking about it. The next meeting, we can start discussing this, to start getting ready for the first of next year. We know
Do you have an opposition to the idea that there's a budget with a 0% increase in the operating budget levy?
I was prepared to talk about what those difficult choices were going to be at this meeting. So that discussion, which was my intent, was circumvented by what the committee decided.
Yeah.
So I think I wanted to have, and the intent of the entire banging on the counter in March was to begin trying to move mindsets about what we think is possible going forward. So I am a little bothered by that guidance because I think it misses that hard discussion. I'm on the committee. I'm one member. I don't need to derail the whole meeting.
Hang on. So I think indirectly everybody's hearing the idea that we want to make hard decisions and save money. At some point, there's a recommendation for us to give guidance to follow this. So that's a motion and a second and a vote, right? Or are we
Well,
just
that was
having a
done by the
discussion?
committee.
Yeah,
I also-
this was just an informational session. There was no
okay.
Yeah.
actual question from this. I was giving you the budget update, the direction that. the
Got it.
finance committee
Okay.
was-
I was not following where we're going.
He's
with this.
illustrating the structure of how the budget design
Then I'm gonna
works.
reiterate what I've been saying for a while is I don't know that I'm not necessarily for or against or replacing an officer. I really think the value savings here is, and I know you've been kind of looking at the top down. I'm looking at like, where are we spending the money and how are we spending the money? Whether it be tasks or, resources, can we solve problems through other methods? And I think the whole growth thing was, I'm looking for nickels and dimes maybe, but hopefully they'll add up to a bucket of money.
Mhm.
So, I don't want to hear, when they do come back, to your point, in not 5 or 6 months, I'd like to hear that, hey, we found that we've been spending money on this and we really don't need to do it. It's something we can save resources,
And I-
whether it be financial or labor or whatever.
I think where that starts though is in the other committees
Right.
as well. That's not just for the admin and finance committee to
Agreed.
discuss. And I
Yeah.
think maybe going forward in our committees that we need to be more conscious of that aspect and start there and discuss
Right.
what's going on, where our money is going, how can we, chip away at those dollars, even with the tiny stuff that adds up. But it shouldn't just start at admin and finance and end there. It should start in the committees and go from there because then you have your head departments going to Devin for those admin and finance meetings. So it needs to start in the committees.
Yeah, I think the overall message that was being conveyed here was that we as an entire board, we don't need to have an entire budget discussion at every single meeting. It should start with the committees and then move into admin finance to be refined.
Mhm.
And then when choices need to be made, then they get presented to the board. And that's when we start talking about it. But whether or not we buy a 1-ton or a 3/4-ton truck, no, those things happen in committee. And then we start talking about, okay, 3%, 2%, 5%. Like, the bigger decisions come to the board, but the minutia should be done in committee.
Yeah, because why would we have committees then?
You got CIP issues or
Yeah.
what
So
street,
that's the overall
That's the
message.
broad-
what
yeah.
street you're gonna black
Because
out.
otherwise our meetings are all going to be 3 hours long.
Well, they are.
I don't know.
Already, even
You were
with
going pretty
committees.
quickly in the beginning.
So
like,
I-
we were
I-
we were flying through
I
things. so-
question our commitment to that committee first approach, but I'm here for it and let's send our own way if that's how we want to do it.
think
Because
you'll
what tends
find-
to happen
I think
is
you'll
stuff
find
comes
some-
here and we relitigate for
Yeah.
the entirety of the meeting and we all know that we do it.
No, I get that, but I think that also comes down to the fact that we need rules and rules for the committees and being at the committees and what we need to do as trustees to fulfill our obligations. Because sometimes that doesn't happen and we have to say, oh, no one can attend. Okay, then it's going straight to the board and that's where where that comes from, I feel like.
I think you'll
sometimes.
find that your experience with admin finance will be very beneficial for you.
Yes.
I'm excited to
Good
join.
work there, yeah. Okay, good on this topic? Great, thank you. Let's go around the room. Neil,
No.
nothing from you? Mike?
No, I'm good.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm all right, thank you.
nothing?
Oh, just me. I did talk to someone, or I overheard, that there's some issues with the internet in, the senior center. And I'm not sure if this might be a user thing or if,
I will answer that real quickly.
this gentleman
I'll
maybe
answer you
needs
real
help.
quickly. It's his own computer setting. All Macs are having an issue saying unsecured network. So
Yep.
it is a Mac computer issue.
My iPhone had it tonight.
Okay.
When technology came in, our Wi-Fi is working fine. It's some setting within the Apple products.
So that would be, everyone should switch to Android.
Well, and all of our board iPads are affected, so I'm currently hotspotting my
So
iPad.
I'm working with Win to see why Apple is showing up as an unsecured network, but that is the issue.
Okay.
It is showing up as an unsecured network. Our Wi-Fi is working. It is an Apple issue with being labeled as an unsecure. So I don't know Apple products, so I don't know if there's a setting you need to change or what, but that is the issue. I looked at that person's computer and it is that.
Okay,
Oh.
and they're aware now and
Well, yeah.
hopefully will resolve. Okay, that's it.
For me, so welcome, Tony.
Oh.
Appreciate you coming to the board and stepping up to participate. Thanks to everybody else, especially Neil for helping run the meeting tonight. I was absent last week at the plan and then for a great portion of this meeting because the school district is undergoing a very large discussion at this point regarding their buildings. Task force that they assembled for this is doing some pretty good work, so I appreciate what they're up to. And I knew I needed to be in the room where it happened with that stuff. So yeah, that's where I was, and it sounds like they're making some productive conversation there.
Good.
Otherwise, I'll catch up with Devin on the rest of the items on here so I can be caught up to speed. But that's all I have. So we will adjourn at 8:31. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Probably one of the best meetings